हेलो एवरीवन, जय हिंद एंड वंस अगेन वेलकम टू द प्लेटफॉर्म ऑफ श्रीराम्स IAS। आप सभी का स्वागत है श्रीराम्स IAS के प्लेटफॉर्म पर। एंड टुडेज सेशन विल बी डिस्कसिंग इन नेक्स्ट 20 minutes the salient features of the Indian Constitution. So far we have studied about formulation, evolution as well as preamble of the Constitution, and today we'll be talking about the salient features that we have in our Constitution of India. Now, the Constitution of India, I told you in previous sessions as well that it was adopted on 26th November 1949. That is after nearly 3 years of complete and careful deliberations, and it was enforced on 26 January 1950. That is where we celebrate our Republic Day. Alright, when it comes to the structure, original structure had 395 articles along with 22 parts and 8 schedules. Alright, it was drafted by the Constituent Assembly, and this complete constitution reflects India's diversity, democratic value as well as the constitutional wisdom that we have. Now, when it comes to the 10 pillars of India's constitutional framework, so the first and the foremost thing is that it is the lengthiest written constitution in the world even right now. Alright, we have more than 450 articles which are there in our constitution, along with fundamental rights which had been enshrined into the constitution itself. Along with, we have the independent and also integrated judiciary that is there in India. Along with, we are blend of rigidity and flexibility, along with the blend of the federalism with unitary biasness. Alright, there is a parliamentary system that we have seen, or we have taken from the Westminster model of UK. Along with this, we have directive principle of state policy which promote the social and economic justice. Along with this, we have a secularism and sovereignty which had been implemented in principle, along with declaring India as a republic. And also we have fundamental duties enshrined into our constitution, and we have single citizenship that is there. So these are the 10 pillars, or you can say these are the 10 most important salient features of our Indian Constitution. Now, the world's most comprehensive constitution had been made in the form of Indian Constitution, where we had originally 395 articles, and now we have more than 450 articles which are there after the amendments, as well as originally we had 8 schedules which are now 12 schedules in total. So we have 12 schedules that are there. Now, why this constitution is lengthiest, or it is the lengthy written constitution in the world? Because everything had been detailed. Alright, it has been written in detail. All the provisions had been laid down with the minute principles being laid down in the constitution. Alright, so that is why it is so detailed, because of India's vast diversity. Alright, because of the complex federal system where we have state and the central relationship which had been earmarked and detailed perfectly in the Indian Constitution, as well as integration of the rights and principles into the Constitution itself. And also we have borrowed the wisdom from the global perspective, various constitution, and then we have utilized it in the form of the vision for India, and that is why Indian Constitution is the lengthiest constitution in the world. Now, when it comes to the borrowed, the borrowed principles that we have taken, I have already told you that what all borrowed features we have taken from different constitution. From United Kingdom, we have taken Westminster model, that is, we have taken parliamentary system, along with rule of law and the legislative procedure, how a bill is passed and it becomes the act. Alright. Then from the United States, we have taken the fundamental rights. Along with this, we have taken judicial review and independence of judiciary. When it comes to integrated judiciary, independence of judiciary we have taken from USA, but integrated judiciary we have taken from UK. Alright, integrated judiciary is taken from the UK. Then comes Ireland, from where we have taken directive principles of state policy, along with the principles of nomination. We have nomination to the Rajya Sabha that is done, or that the feature had been taken from the Constitution of Ireland. Then from Canada, we have taken federal system with strong center, along with the residuary power that are vested with the center when it comes to the division of power between center and state. From Australia, we have taken concurrent list, along with this freedom to trade and commerce. Then from former USSR constitution, we have taken fundamental rights and the socialist ideals which are enshrined in the constitution. And from France, we have taken the ideals of liberty, equality and fraternity which are there in our constitution and had been written specifically in the preamble itself. Now, when it comes to the another feature of our constitution or salient feature of the constitution, that is where we have balanced stability with the evolution. Because when the framers of the constitution, they were drafting the constitution, they knew that there would be certain things that would, they will open up in the future. And up to then, they had no idea about what will happen in the future. So they did not want, at that point of time, they did not want it. The constitution should be made in such a way that it would be rigid and it could not be amended easily. Alright, or they wanted that even if there are certain features which could be amended, so there a kind of rigidity should be there, but along with this, there should be some flexibility as well that should be provided so that the easy or the simple procedures or simple things which had been enshrined in the constitution could be amended easily, but where we have the center and state dynamics, those have to be looked upon and they could be amended or they could be changed only with the consensus that had been taken from the center, from the states as well. So when it comes to the amendment procedure, the constitution could be amended by simple majority. Alright, certain routine administrative changes which are there, they could be easily amended. And what simple majority means? It means 50% plus 1, that is more than 50% of the votes of present and voting. Alright, so that is the simple majority. Then comes special majority. The fundamental rights, directive principle of state policy, they could be amended by special majority. And what is a special majority? Special majority means there are two conditions over here, please note, that is two-third majority of present and voting, alright, plus this majority should be more than 50% of membership of the house. Alright, so that is very, very important to note over here that when it comes to the special majority, there are two conditions, that the majority of the present and voting should be more than two-thirds. Alright, and this majority should be more than the 50% of the total membership of the house, and where we have the federal structure, they have to be amended. So there we require special majority along with the state ratification. More than 50% of the state, they should ratify the amendments, and then only the federal features could be amended. So that is how we have the simple majority, special majority and special majority plus state ratification. These are the three ways how the constitution could be amended. So when we are talking about the simple majority we can amend the formation of new states, alright, the administrative provision as well as citizenship matters. So we have simple majority also, through which certain acts, certain articles could be amended. Alright, at the same time, when we are talking about the rigid elements or the rigidity in the constitution, we have special majority for the key provision, we have state ratification for the federal features, and these both of them that protects the core constitutional values of the constitution, and that is how we have a blend of rigidity as well as flexibility in our constitution. At the same time, we have a blend of federalism along with unitary features that we can see in our constitution. Now, what is federalism and what is unitary? Alright, when it comes to federalism, federal structure or the federalism, you can see or you can take an example of US. Alright, USA where the power has been divided. So where there is clear demarcation of the power, alright, power division between center and state, so that is what is called as a federal state. At the same time, when we talk about the unitary state, what is a unitary state? Over here you can imagine or you can take an example of UK, where center is all powerful. Alright, center is all powerful and the peripheries or the provinces, they do not have the power. All the power is vested with the center. So that is what a unitary state is. So when it comes to Indian Constitution, we have both the provision. Alright, you will see that the federal features, they are basically for the demarcation or division of the power between center and state. Like for example, we have dual polity where we have center and state governments which are there. Along with this, we have division of power where we have the three lists which have been laid down. We have union list, we have state list and the concurrent list. We have written constitution. Now written constitution is important and we have constitutional supremacy. Alright, we have the constitution that is supreme. Neither the state is supreme or the center is supreme. Now written constitution actually means that all the powers had been written down and now there would be no clashes between the various the power groups, whether it is center or the state. So therefore written constitution is also a federal feature along with independent judiciary, which is independent from the center and the state. Alright, again it can adjudicate the disputes independently. And then we have bicameral legislature as well, where we have one house, that is lower house, where we have the people's representative which sit there, and we have the upper house or the Rajya Sabha, which is the council of states, where we have the representatives from the state that they sit there. So overall, these are the federal features that are there in our constitution. Along with this, we have unitary features. We have single citizenship that we have taken from UK, and we have a single citizenship unlike the USA. Alright, in the same manner, we have the single constitution for all as well. That is, we have a same constitution for a whole of India. There is no separate constitution for the states. Along with this, we have strong central government. Alright, there are emergency provision, and during emergency, especially during the national emergency, the complete power comes under the center. And we have all India services, the all India services where the recruitment is made by the center, but they do their service tenure is under the state government. So that is why the all India services again are kind of unitary feature. So we have a unique blend where we have used or we have blended both the unitary features as well as federal features in our constitution. Now when it comes to the parliamentary democracy, so we have taken the Westminster model and we have adopted it for the Indian realities. Alright, we have the real executive. Now I told you previously as well that we have the head of the nation. Head of the nation is president. President is mere a rubber stamp. Alright, president is mere a rubber stamp. The real power or the real authority, real head of the India or the head of the government is actually the Prime Minister, and he is or he heads the Council of Ministers, which is actually the actual policy making body that is there. Alright, so he has all the policy making power in India. So therefore we have a real executive, that is Prime Minister, and we have a nominal executive. President is mere a rubber stamp, and therefore President acts as the constitutional head, and he acts on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, which is headed by the Prime Minister. So therefore he is just a nominal head. Then there is a collective responsibility of all the ministers. The ministers are accountable to the Lok Sabha, which is House of the People. Alright, they are accountable to the Lok Sabha, and it stands together or falls together. Alright, even if a minister, there is a censor motion against a minister and that date gets passed. Alright, so it is whole of the ministry that have to resign. So over here, when we are talking about the council, it stands or falls together, and there is executive legislative harmony, or that is the difference between presidential and the prime minister form of government. Alright, so we have the parliamentary form of government. In parliamentary form of government, what happens is that we have two bodies. Alright, we have the legislature or legislative. We have legislative body that makes the law, and we have the executive body that executes the law. The executive body is actually the part of the legislative body. Alright, the ministers which are there, they're part of the legislative body. Or the Prime Minister and the various ministers, they would be the part of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. Now, there is a condition. Even you or me, we could be appointed as a minister, even if we are not part of the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. But over here, the main purpose or the main catch is that you or I or any person who had been or who is not a member of any of the houses, he has to get elected, he has to get nominated, or in simple terms, he has to be a member of the House within the next 6 months, otherwise his post will be vacant. Alright, so in this way, we have the ministers, they are the part of, or they must be the parliamentary members, and that ensures the cooperation as well as accountability among them. Now, when it comes to judiciary, we have independence of judiciary as well as integrated judiciary, where we have a single integration right from the subordinate courts, alright, at the bottom, and then we have high courts in the states, alright, and there could be one high court for more than one state as well. Alright, there could be a common high court, like for example, we have high court in Chandigarh. So that is Punjab and Haryana High Court, that is there in Chandigarh. It overlooks, or it has a jurisdiction over Punjab as well, Haryana as well, and even on the Union Territory of Chandigarh. Alright, and then at the top we have the Supreme Court. So over here, when it comes to the independence of judiciary, what does it mean? It means that there is a separation of power between the judiciary and as well as the executive and legislative. The executive and legislative, they do not have any control over judiciary. We have completely independent judiciary, as well as when it comes to the various laws which are made. So there is a judicial review power that is granted to the judiciaries in India. Alright, we have Article 13. Along with this, we have the writs mentioned under Article 32 for Supreme Court and Article 226 for the High Courts, that empowers the courts for judicially reviewing the different perspectives. Alright, along with this, the Supreme Court as well as High Court, they act as, or the judiciary act as the protection or protector of the fundamental rights. So that gives it a kind of, you can say, it acts as a constitutional guardian for whole of India or the people of India. Now, we have the fundamental rights which have been enshrined in Part 3 of the Constitution from Article 12 to 35. They have been derived from the US Bill of Rights. They are justifiable as well as they are enforceable by the law. We have 6 separate rights right now which are granted by the fundamental rights. Earlier there were 7 rights, but right now we have 6 rights. Set of rights. We have right to equality between Article 14 to 18, where everybody or they are treated, equally treated before the law. Alright, we have right to freedom from Article 19 to 22, where it gives the freedom for speech, assembly, for movement throughout the territory of India. We have right against exploitation, Article 23 and 24, that abolish human trafficking, even works for the child labor as well. Alright, there comes the right to freedom of religion from Article 25 to 28, which gives the religious liberty to each and every individual of India. Alright, we have cultural and educational rights, Article 29 and 30, which gives the minority protection, as well as when it comes to the Article 32, which is right to constitutional remedy, very important right. So all these are different 6 set of rights which have been granted as fundamental rights in the Constitution of India. Next, we have the next part, that is Part 4, that is directive principle of state policy, that guides the state whenever a state is making any law or for policy making. Alright, now these are a guidance. Alright, they are not enforceable by law. Alright, and they are not justiciable. But they are a guiding principle for the state whenever a state is designing any policy or it is making any law or an act. And that is why they are very, very important. They have been inspired by the Ireland, and these principles are non-justiciable, but they are very much fundamental for the governance as well as for the social and economic justice. They promote social and economic justice, and along with this, because they promote social and economic justice, they promote welfare state, or India is a welfare state. We can say that. Why? Because of the directive principle of state policies. Alright, they cannot be enforced by courts, but they are fundamental to the governance and they are moral obligation to the state. So over here, they provide with the economic democracy, where we have the equitable distribution of resources, right to work and living wage, which had been discussed. They provide for the social welfare. We are talking about education, health, protection of weaker section of the society, and they balance the rights, balance with the rights. Alright, because the rights provide you with the political justice, but directive principles and fundamental rights they provide, the directive principle they provide with the economic and social justice, and therefore they promote India, or they mean that India is a welfare state. Now, the next part, part 4A, is also enshrined into the Constitution. Again, a very prominent feature of the Indian Constitution, that is fundamental duties, and it has only one article, Article 51A. It has been inspired by the USSR, former USSR Constitution, and basic purpose was to balance rights with the responsibilities or the duties which as a citizen of India we all must adhere to. Alright, this was actually not there in the original constitution. It was later on added in 1976 by 42nd Amendment Act, and there were 10 duties which were added. Later on there was addition of one more duty, and 11th duty was added in 2022 along with the 86th Amendment Act, and it has various duties, various responsibilities, just like to respect the constitution, national flag and anthem, cherish ideals of freedom struggle, also protect sovereignty and integrity, promote harmony and brotherhood, protect environment and wildlife, and also develop scientific temper and humanism. So such type of responsibilities has been enshrined in our constitution under the fundamental duties. Now, our constitution declares India as a sovereign, socialist and as well as secular republic. Now, what is meant by sovereign? I have told you when we were discussing the preamble that India is independent in internal and external affairs, and no foreign power has any control over the decisions of India. The secularism means that there is equal respect for all religions. Alright, and this term was added by the 42nd Amendment Act 1976. India do not have any state official religion. And also republic means that we have an elected head of the state. Now, I have told you just right now, elected head, we are talking about the President of India. He is elected head. There would be no hereditary monarchy, and the power of India, or the ultimate power rests with the people. So that is what is meant by sovereign, secular as well as republic. So we had been declared sovereign, secular and socialist democratic republic by the preamble of India. Now, when it comes to the unitary feature, so we have single citizenship in India. Alright, we have single citizenship, we have one nation, one citizenship that we have in India. Alright, so USA has a federal feature. When you go to the USA or when you meet people from USA, they would have two different type of citizenship. Citizenship of USA and citizenship of the state in which they are living. But in India, we do not have a state citizenship. Alright, unlike USA, we have just one citizenship. All Indians are citizens of India. Alright, we have only single citizenship of that of India. There would be no separate state citizenship, and it promotes national unity. As well as we have given the universal adult franchise to everyone under Article 326. Every citizen that is aged 18 or above, he can vote or she can vote regardless of any caste, creed or religion, regardless of any gender. There is completely gender equality in voting, as well as when it comes to the wealth or education, there are no barriers to vote. So every person who is above 18 years or 18 years, he can vote or he can participate in the election and for the voting, not election, for the voting, and that is the universal adult franchise that had been granted under Article 326. Now, there are emergency provisions as well that safeguards our nation, which has been enshrined under Part 18 of the Constitution. Now, when it comes to the emergency, we have three different sets of emergencies which have been described. We have national emergency under Article 352 of the Constitution. That could be established, or that could be, it could be invoked. The national emergency could be invoked only under three conditions, and that is when we are at a war, there is an external aggression, or internal armed rebellion. So these are the three conditions when the national emergency can be proclaimed in our country. Along with this, we have state emergency, or which is prominently called as the presidential rule or president's rule. This is granted, or this finds its mention in Article 356 of the Constitution, and it is applied when there is a failure of the constitutional machinery in the state. And then we have financial emergency under Article 360. It is where the threat, there is a credible threat to the financial stability or credit of India at that point of time, the financial emergency can be applied, all right, or it could be invoked. Financial emergency had not been invoked or proclaimed in India. The rest, national emergency, there had been 3 times where it had been proclaimed, and state emergency has been also proclaimed in India. So these emergency provision, they grant extraordinary powers to the center while it protect the core democratic values in India, and that is why emergency provisions are also a salient feature of our constitution. Along with this, we have other distinctive constitutional features, like we have Independent Election Commission under Article 324, which ensures free and fair elections throughout the country. All right, for the when we are talking about the National Election Commission, that is responsible for conducting various elections apart from the elections of panchayats and municipalities. All right, along with this, there are special provisions which are granted for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, as well as other backward classes and minorities, that ensures their inclusive development into our constitution. We have single integrated and unified system right from the Supreme Court to the district courts, which we have taken. The provision had been taken from the United Kingdom. We have part 17 that says that we have the official languages. There are total 22 languages which have been recognized as the scheduled languages as the part of the part 17. All right. And then we have the All India Services as well, where we have the IAS, IPS and IFOS, or the Forest Service, not Foreign Service. Please remember this, that it is Forest Service. We have Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service and Indian Forest Service. They maintain the administrative continuity, and that is the distinctive constitutional features that you will find in our constitution. So these are the salient features at a glance that we have studied. It is lengthiest written constitution, federal with unitary biasness, we have parliamentary democracy, independence of judiciary, we are secular socialist republic, and also fundamental rights and directive principle finds its mention in the constitution. Along with, we have single citizenship, universal franchisee, and it is a blend of rigidity and flexibility. Over here you can test your constitutional knowledge that we have studied just right now. What is meant by federal system with unitary biasness? All right. So you have to think over here about the balance between center and state. Also, how emergency provision affect the balance. Which amendment added fundamental duties to the constitution? So it is very easy. All right. Then how many schedules are currently in the constitution? Again, an easy one. You can answer these and you can write down the answers to these in the comment box, so that I can see that you are actually gaining some things or insights through these polity in 20 minutes video series. All right, so that would be all in today's session. All right, plus do not forget to like, share and also subscribe to the channel, so that you can stay updated with such videos in the future as well. All right, so that would be all. Thank you, and keep learning, keep growing. The next lecture that we will be taking will be on union and its territories. That is the part 1 of the constitution. We'll be starting from the constitution from next series onwards, or next video onwards. So that would be all. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care and Jai Hind. Thank you.